Email us tips privately at
I didn't know if you could hear me.
par@realnews.com
Yeah, I
and
got you.
share your evidence of police misconduct. You can also message us at Police Accountability Report on Facebook or Instagram, or at Eyes on Police on Twitter. And of course, you can message me directly at Tejas Baltimore on Twitter or Facebook. And please like, share,
All
and
right,
comment.
guys.
You know, I read your comments whenever I can and answer questions too. My
Says we're
name is
live
Tam
on
Graham.
both.
I'm
There's
the host of the
the
Police Accountability Report.
notification I think I just
Thank you for
got.
watching, and please be safe out there.
Shout
I'm
out
gonna
to
switch.
Real News Network for their awesome work.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
We got Crispy down here.
Mr. Wrights Crispy, what's up?
What's up, y'all? I was not able to get any of the stuff over to you, but I'll send it over now. GA.
Yeah, I gotta jump around in these tabs, man. Gotta jump around in these tabs. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yep. Be careful. Don't talk like that. You'll get called out by people saying that you shouldn't talk. Like it's
dude,
not your
I'm
skin
talking like
color.
I talk every other day, so.
I know, right? That's what I said. I'm like, dude, don't tell me how to talk.
Some people just want to find anything to be upset about.
Because I told him FOH. And he goes, and look at you. You're white, and you said, "Fuck out of here." Like, yeah, fuck out of here.
I don't know if you're sending it via email or how you're sending it there, buddy. But
What do you prefer?
email at this point, I got that pulled up, so I can
Okay.
pull that open, whenever.
All right, Facebook Messenger. It is.
These meaningful conversations that we have, you know what I'm saying?
It's just way easier because I got it right here.
Did we lose Mr. News Now? South part of
South
Florida.
Florida.
The south part of Florida News Now. What's up, Free Thinker? Noli D, Perfect Sense, PDF, Ebor Rob, Alan Habs 11, Air Cooled Accountability, Princess and Pirate, I see you, Google user, we've been trying, man. I don't know what's going on. All right.
Hey, Free Thinker. I can see the chat now. Throw up the link for News Now South Florida.
Yeah, he was already in here, so he has the link, but I'll
Only D.
go ahead and get it copied.
M.
Tyrant Slayer Studios.
Tyrant Slayers. Hey, Perfect Sense. Thanks for coming in here. I was trying to get back with the Resistance today, but I was talking to my mom. She's in the hospital.
Oh, he's putting his own, or maybe that's me. I have no idea what's going on. Maybe he put it in there too. Oh, it's on both
Tyrant Slayer,
Facebook and YouTube right now. So have you sent me anything yet, sir?
On Messenger, I did. What's up, Air Cooled? Thank you, Perfect Sense. I think they got what it was under control. She recently received 2 transplants. So
I forgot I got to go to your newest upload as well.
Yes, please.
Excuse me. Is that where you wanted to start?
It's up to you, man. I'm I'm still gathering stuff that I didn't get a chance to. So if you want
to, bro, dude.
Yeah.
Falling out over here. You there with us, Mr. News Now, South Florida? News Now. Can you hear us?
News Now South Florida.
He was having reception issues. New Smyrna Times, we see you. All right, let's see here. And this thumbnail, by the way, has been. Where is it?
I had so many good ones to choose from that one field training officer, but I went with the chief. All right, we're on Facebook, huh?
We're on Facebook
Live.
What I'm trying to figure out is where that video is. I'm on videos, all videos. The last one I see is they just don't get it. They just don't care. Here, let me go back to.
We're having trouble playing this Thursday night B.A.N.G video.
Well, no, it like I'm going on YouTube, your YouTube page, and for whatever reason, it's just not there.
My YouTube page? Go to the Bolt Action News Group YouTube page.
Ah, that's why. Forgot you put it there. Anyway, yeah, this.
Yeah, thanks for your patience, y'all. We, for those of you who haven't watched it yet, we went to the press conference for the rollout of the new body cams that the St. Pete Police Department are using. They had Chief Tony Holloway and 5 other police officers learning how to use it, getting training. And we were allowed to go in and ask them a few questions. They didn't answer them all, as you'll see. The important ones they didn't want to answer. We ran into I don't think she was a regular journalist. I think she was there just as an activist for that guy who was arrested, because she just kept on talking about the protest. But she did an excellent job, and you'll see in the video. And we're not going to watch all 24 minutes of it. There's just a few really poignant parts that we should cover.
Okay. Well, I'll let you kind of tell me where to skip around. I did want to say what's up to Porter Farmer and Captain Awesome, who have joined us now.
Hey, PDF.
Hey.
What's up?
Y'all ready to go to Georgia or what?
I'm always down to go to Georgia.
I can't do this.
They're gonna arrest anybody that has a vulgar word on a sign. They will arrest in Valdosta, because a lady had a word. She had a sign that said "fuck Trump," and the sheriff went over there and snatched it out of her hand. She tried to take it back. He grabbed her. Looked like some guy grabbed the sheriff, but the sheriff up there said that anybody that comes up there that has a vulgar word on a sign, they'll be arrested for a misdemeanor, because it's a misdemeanor if you put a sign up where a 14-year-old can see it that says a vulgar word. Now, wait a minute. What happened to our Constitution?
Didn't Jeff Gray already beat that?
In a vote.
This is in Valdosta. This is a different place than where Jeff Gray went. This is Lowndes County, where Rogue was at just a few weeks back.
Go ahead, Cap. You were saying something.
Yeah, I was saying that Jeff Gray was in Moultrie, Georgia, but yeah, I mean, I'd be down to go to Valdosta again with a sign. I mean, again, I think even from what PDF said of the sheriff talking about some kind of code, it sounded like if you were to place a sign, if you were, how they stick the signs into the grass or whatever for the politicians and garage sales.
Right.
I think that might be more along the lines of what the ordinance is saying, if there is an ordinance like that. But yeah, they can't say that you holding a sign that says, F the police is a misdemeanor. Again, that's like PDF said. That's
it was on WCTV News tonight. It was on the news, WCTV. The sheriff right there came out right out of his own mouth, said anybody comes here with a sign that has a vulgar word that a 14-year-old can see will be arrested for a misdemeanor. He said it tonight on the news.
I don't believe they'll, or I believe that they will try, and but I think it's important to understand too that they shouldn't be, because there's a difference between obscenity and somebody writing "fuck" on a sign or shit.
His words were vulgar. The word was vulgar. The word "fuck." He said vulgar words, which the lady
vulgar,
had a
but
sign.
is vulgar written in the statutes or their laws, or is it obscenity? Because obscenity is usually what they use to, you know, put people in jail over. Although we saw what happened.
It's on WCTV news clip tonight. It came on at but yeah, he said any vulgar words. And he went over there and forcefully snatched that sign out of that woman's hand. And then she tried to take it back, and he wrestled it away from her. And it looked on the news clip that I seen that a man behind the sheriff tried to grab his arms around the sheriff to stop him from going after that woman. It was looking like it was fixing to get violent. Well, then they had a news meeting with the sheriff, and his exact words was, if anybody comes up there with a vulgar word on a sign, they'll be arrested for a misdemeanor if you go anywhere that a 14-year-old can see the sign. That was the sheriff.
What about a 12-year-old?
He said 14.
Anything
more or less.
Well, you know, see, after seeing what they did to Peachy, they all the other stuff that I've been seeing around on all these videos going around the country, I don't put anything past them. Ain't nobody paying attention to what people are actually out for. They're just out there running the same game they always do, following orders. They're not very effective, though, at picking up looters, it doesn't seem, from what I've been seeing.
No, I don't know. I just thought that was totally wrong. That should be challenged.
Oh, yeah. It is. I can't more than one person.
Oh, and it will be challenged. You know, what would be nice to see would be to get that sheriff's name and to write a sign that says Steve Wainwright. Write a sign that says F. Steve Wainwright, and then hang out right in front of the sheriff's office. That way you don't have far to go.
I'm ready. My news ready.
Yeah, I've been getting some flack from my coverage of the protests. I don't know if you guys have, from people, you know, conflating protesters with rioters and looters. No. Whereas we didn't see any of that in Tampa. Did you see anything like that, Rogue?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. I've been called a liar all day long because I said that there was nothing like that going on. They said, look, open your eyes. You're being blinded. I'm like, I'm being blinded by not watching the lamestream media's fake accounts of things. And
that, I mean, if something's going on in one part of the town and we don't see it, I mean, how does that make us a liar?
Right. And you know what? It's happening. I'm not denying it's happening. There are riots and looting, but there's also conflating the two with protesters. That's happening too. Peaceful protesters are being blamed for the looters and rioters. And now, on the note of the looters and rioters, quote, while no one condones looting, on the other hand, one can understand the pent-up feelings that may result from decades of repression and people who have had members of their family killed by that regime, for them to be taking their feelings out on that regime. And I don't think there's anyone in any of those pictures who wouldn't accept it as part of the price of getting from a repressed regime to freedom. That's Donald Rumsfeld, U.S. Defense Secretary in 2003, talking about Iraq.
What about these bricks? Everybody sees talking about these pallets of bricks being strategically placed all around cities. They got a video or two out saying it.
And on top of that, too, that's a good point. But I also noticed, too, I think I heard in St. Pete.
Yeah, that's
it was Sarasota, where they're using that as an excuse to why they're shooting tear gas out to everybody, just because those things are placed there. Not even saying
St. Pete
as much as that they were being used. But I mean, most cases I see, it's the police that are instigating a lot of the violence.
You'll see in the video when that girl is asking Chief Holloway about the arrest the night before of one guy who was associated with 3 other people when he wasn't with them. And he said, well, we have evidence that they were talking about using that stuff. So we're throwing them all in jail for inciting a riot, a fray.
And that could be somebody else, you know what I mean, making you should see the one. I'll have to see if I can find it later here, if we ever get to it. The threats that had them close 2 Walmarts and stuff like that. It was really vague.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Kind of tell that it was somebody trying to start some shit, just get people riled up.
Wolfie and the Resistance are in here. What's up?
What's up, guys?
Champions.
Hey, well, let's get to this video so we can kind of keep within the time parameter here.
Right on.
We're gonna enjoy our. Let me learn.
Can't see it.
Food.
There we go. Look at that dude. He's a badass. That guy too.
Hopefully he'll pop in later. Let me make sure. There he is. Hey. Let's address this real quick. All right. Can talk? Let's make sure we can hear you.
I'm getting a big echo on my end.
Hey, Piner.
You still getting an echo? Are you getting that? Maybe if you have your headphones in and you're watching the YouTube thing, you got to mute the volume on it.
Headphones are in.
But mute the volume. Are you watching a YouTube feed as well? Okay.
I'm not watching the YouTube also.
But you're still getting feedback.
It's like a delayed echo.
Still?
No, I think I'm good right now.
All right, it might be. Okay. I'm just playing around, guys. So if I mute you, unless you've muted yourself, I can't control you if you muted yourself. But if I mute you, I'm just trying to mess with blocking out background noise and echoes and stuff like that. So I'm going to proceed. You good? You good right now, News Now South Florida? It's all okay.
I had one last important question. The last question. How do you feel about the qualified immunity going before the Supreme Court? So as a union rep, how do you feel about the qualified immunity arguments going before the Supreme Court?
I don't think I know what you're talking about.
At the fucking liar.
Police Training Center to sit in on a media invite for body cam instructions.
You want me to skip?
Yeah, skip to about 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Maybe.
Like when you actually get to start asking some questions?
Yeah. Because they're just asking, would the officer activated during a protest? Like, they can't get past the last 3 days.
Thanks for having us, Chief. Wrights Crispy with the Bolt Action News Group. I'm just asking, what was the considerations for the selection process on the officers you chose to try this out on?
I hate that I ended it with a preposition.
Transparency. It's wonderful.
Very much transparency. And again, they're here so they can go back. I don't want them to hear from me. I want them to hear from the men and women that are out for one.
Lead with a softball question, then follow up with a harder one.
Right on. That's an excellent. And to follow up on my colleague's question, with the Department of Justice saying that officer discretion is recommended
blending
when
a margarita.
Hesitant informant or Marcy's Law or things like that. will they still activate it and allow the Public Records Department to redact any sensitive information?
So again, so you and I are talking right now, it's recording, but I haven't activated the recording unless I have to pull my weapon again or activate or activate and I'm down. So there's nothing there for you to see. If it is recorded, then we'll follow 119 rule.
Right on.
And I promise to bring this back to it. The only thing we need is make this a watch.
You can skip.
All them people really hate you. You know that, right, Spencer?
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh,
There's so much contempt in their eyes.
you guys trying it out? No.
He said no right away. That lieutenant does not want to try it out. And then I was
How do
like,
you
wait
feel
a
about it?
minute.
Good, wonderful.
That guy did. That's
It's only going to help us
Santiago.
all. Save us all money to avoid any frivolous lawsuits. You can prove that you weren't being racist in those situations. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Or you can skip. This is just info about it, like the company. And this is just this guy demonstrating it, and it was shitty GoPro footage. But look at this broken Spanish. Anybody who's watching this who actually speaks Spanish, watch this real quick. This is El Orgullo de Puerto Rico.
Just here?
If you skip to the 10:43 mark.
Y el oficial Santiago es de Ponce, Puerto Rico. Para la gente, los boricuas, que tengan
Skipped it.
orgullo.
All right, go to
Gracias, mano.
go to 15. No, go to 1605.
So
What, are you okay if I record? Just to get
we're
close up?
recording
Yeah,
each
we're recording each
other.
other. Perfect. So I just wanted to, I mean, what exactly made last night constitute a riot that resulted in these, 4 people being arrested for instigating a riot?
Sure. So there was one guy that threw brick and bottle, and then those people that were in the car, we had information that they were talking about using the objects that were found in the car. They were going to use that. So that's what we're charging. You can see that.
No,
I love when she says this. Yeah, I know what it says in the affidavit. It reminds
yeah,
me
he
of
says it's all in the affidavit, and she says, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
read that."
She's like, yeah, I've read that.
bullshit.
That was
I saw
funny.
that part in the affidavit. What about Codell? What was his deal?
Yeah, that's
Anthony Codell.
Okay, we had
All
reporters
these reasons we're not going to answer the question.
Yeah, Yolanda Fernandez is standing right to my 7 o'clock, and she is a former press media member from like the local news station, and then she became the not the public information officer, but the police spokesperson. She and the little guy who kind of ran us out of there are
Right.
the police spokespeople.
Right. Did you guys see the website that I sent you about the MPPA or whatever for media that talks about
Yes, I did.
press passes and stuff like that? But they were talking about and some other stuff that I read about how like a lot of people just basically get with the organization if they're going to film like a private organization or like a event or something like that. That's how they get press passes for that. But it's not a press pass or a press ID. It's just basically permission to film
Backstage pass to
Right.
the concert or whatever.
Yeah, it's an okay to film private event. But anyway, we'll get back to this.
Yeah.
And something that we've got a good charge. We talked to our legal people to make sure that's something that he's not going to argue in court, but we make sure we had a good ground to stand on before we made an arrest. If it would have been peaceful, he would not have been arrested, but we had enough to arrest him. And the rest of it was elected.
This really makes me want to look up. The sheriff in my county said there were 7 arrests due to rioting and loot or whatever happened during the protests out here. So I need
Yeah,
to find out.
Anthony Cordell, Lady Nash, Javonta McLeod, and Eddie Bryant were all arrested.
And I'm sure it was probably similar to here, where it probably was nothing real crazy. They just needed something to make it look like it's not peaceful, you know?
You can't
Yeah.
say what exactly made it not peaceful.
Well, again, it's in the affidavit and be in a police report once it's released.
Was Codell connected to the 3 people in the car?
That's an active investigation. Keep that with you.
Now, background, Cordell is white. The other 3 people are black.
We're gonna
She's just asking about him. That's the only reason I only wrote about him.
differentiate whether he was involved with these 3
That's
people.
not my story. That's her story. You guys could look further into it.
What
I
can
gave
tell
you the
from
other
this
names just now.
here, knew about that.
And again, I'll have to get the information to you. And if we got any other thing, I can relay it through to Yolanda because I have a lot of things. If we can release it to you, we will.
Thanks, Chief. And one thing about the body cams, I'm sorry.
Okay.
The George Floyd thing that I asked about. What position? Like, are you saying they would have turned on because the officers were like actually down on, like,
Just like
down
that.
on the
That's
So
ground?
she's just trying to get him. She's just trying to get him to like answer the question about like officer discretion as to when they can activate it, and he's reverting to the fail-safe mechanisms that are built in, and he's going to demonstrate by doing a little jog. He says, "Look, they activate when you start running. So if I get into a fight with you," and earlier in the thing, if you back it up to, you could see where he says, "Hang on." He's talking about maybe getting into a fight with these things.
Yeah, I saw when they when it
And-
said the body cam's off or whatever, officer down.
Yeah, he starts like smiling about it. Like, yeah, and the officer will be down over there. He'll be down. It's like, what's
This
so
guy's
funny about that?
Like a freaking goofball and a half. I don't know. What
He's
is that?
very doofy, like you said. You nailed it this morning when you said he's doofy.
No.
And talk to the manufacturer because there's many other trigger points like running and other things.
But yeah, I wanted.
Okay, yeah,
I was
okay.
real interested in who she and the spokesman, quote unquote, when he told you it was time to go, and why it was all of a sudden time for you to go.
But they can go.
Well, everybody was leaving, and that is a secured facility, so time, place, and manner or restrictions. You still got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just like, why they decided all of a sudden for you to go, and it wasn't like everybody else left right at the same time.
No, everybody did. There were some stragglers right behind us, but we all left at the same time.
Maybe
Not at the exact same time in the single file right behind each other, but
Okay.
yeah, that guy walked us out and some other people.
an officer down feature. It told me in the room. I wasn't even here. It gave me the officer's name and it told me he was down.
Question, Chief. I remembered what I was going to ask. I'm sorry. Did you finish?
No, you're good. Thank you, Chief.
It was about the body cams manufacturer. Are you going? Is it Axon?
I'm sorry?
Axon?
This is not Icon,
Okay.
it's body worn.
It's
Now
body
with
worn.
body worn, you guys, will you be providing a link for public records requests, or will you provide it on a hard copy disc? How will you provide it?
We'll follow 119.
Yeah, we gotta work that out.
Okay.
Yeah, you
It's
got to
just
work
more
that out.
for the taxpayer to just give us a link instead of having to produce it on a separate hard media, digital age.
It depends on the length of the file. too.
Right.
Nope. What that says.
I'll get you another poster. Let me see what I can do.
I had one last important question.
We gotta go.
The last question.
This is the
How do
topic.
you feel about the qualified immunity going before the Supreme Court?
That's something I'm gonna answer. Thank you.
No? Okay. No
Not gonna
comment
answer.
on the qualified immunity question.
Yeah, and I do want to be like,
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to thank you for volunteering, and that's a great leadership by example. Field training officer.
Look at this phony
published
bitch.
35. Yeah. So what made you choose to volunteer? Because you're a field training officer?
I'm a training officer and I'm a union rep.
Okay.
So I kind of wanted to see what this new system would involve, like if it would, be as good, to the officers and the citizens. And,
Skip this, like maybe like 10, 15 seconds.
Good program that, wasn't, hopefully it's user friendly.
Right.
It was a good program that wasn't.
You're gonna work out the bugs
I'm like,
for
this
us.
looks like a cell phone. Can I just call on it? No. But I mean, I think it'll be a good program. We're the guinea pigs, and today's the first day. But
You're the pigs.
As
Yes.
a union rep, how do you feel about the qualified immunity arguments going before the Supreme Court?
Look at this liar.
Qualified immunity, you know about that, right?
No.
Oh, well,
Pause
qualified
that.
immunity is something that is.
Maybe go back and play that again so you guys could see when she looks down and to the right. That's a typical
How do you
liar
feel about
move.
the
And the,
qualified immunity argument?
let's see if you know what it is. Question.
For the Supreme Court.
Licking your lips.
Well, qualified.
All right. Do you want to play any more of this, or is that kind of?
Yeah, no, just like what she says is that she doesn't know what it is, and
what is she? A corporal?
She's a corporal, field training officer, and the union rep. How
And
does
she
not
doesn't know about qualified immunity? She's crazy.
Right.
She's a corporal?
She's a corporal, field training officer, and the union
There's an
rep.
echo. And she doesn't know about qualified immunity? She's crazy.
Right.
It's the wrong video.
It's going before the Supreme Court.
I don't think I know what you're talking about.
Well, qualified immunity, you know about that, right?
No.
Oh, well, qualified immunity is something that is given to you by the city when you make a mistake that is not involving someone's civil rights. But if you violate someone's civil rights, since you did swear to uphold the Constitution, you
Car
lose your
accidents.
qualification to be sued in your individual capacity. Now they're trying to take that away from you to make it harder for you to trample on someone's rights.
Right.
So how do you feel about
like
that?
suing you personally instead of
Right. If I let's say, for example, get trespassed illegally from a public area for not committing a crime, for just my freedom of press. That one's off. That would be a violation of my civil rights, and the officer
Sorry,
involved
folks.
in their individual capacity. The city or the county would not pay for that mistake. Whereas, like a city clerk, if they got my name wrong on my marriage certificate, of course, the city will pay for that person's mistake. Okay. Well, please look into it, and in your position, please spread the information.
Absolutely.
Because it's
I'll
important.
do my research.
It'll save you guys a lot of money. We are civil rights activists, litigators, investigators, and we hold our government accountable.
Sure.
That camera right there is going to save you a lot of money.
Ideally.
Yeah, it's going to save us a lot of money too.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
well, good. Win-win.
Yeah. Well, thanks again.
No problem.
And your name and badge number,
It's
please?
Michelle Photovat.
Photovat and your badge number?
We don't have badge numbers.
Or ID number, you know.
It's like
Gotta love that.
I hate that stupid little game they always play. You know what the fuck I'm.
4 3 3s and a 2.
4
3 3s and a 2.
3 2. Okay. I don't think there's another Photovat on
Yeah,
the
no,
first.
there is not.
We as auditors should start calling them employee ID numbers from now on.
Yes.
We've already played all their.
What's your employee ID number?
Games.
Right on.
Games with it.
Could I get your name, please?
Yeah, Officer Burner.
Burner, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hot.
All right. Is that good? Are we good?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
All right. I got to stop sharing this. Let me look at
What's
the
up,
chat.
Gunny?
Make sure we're not miss this. I'm just gonna back up through the chat. Did y'all have anything you wanted to bring up about his video while I see if there's any questions, or if anybody else saw any questions in the chat that I should be?
I'll bring up something. There's no way in hell she didn't know what qualified immunity was.
Oh yeah, I told Wrights the same thing. I said as soon as you asked that question, she knew exactly what you're talking about because she smirked at it.
There we go. No more OSU football because they suck.
All right, so I guess we'll go into this. I do have, in addition to the site that you sent me, I found just like a basic overview of what we're talking about here.
Oh yeah.
and it's got like a little story in there and stuff too. Let's see. Boom. You guys, how's the shit? I don't even know how to zoom in if I wanted to, but I'm just gonna read it, I guess.
You know what the four things are that they have to say to get qualified immunity? One of or all four.
What's that?
They can say they were in fear for their life. They can say they thought what they were doing was legal. They can say they were not properly trained, or they can say they were trained improperly. Either one of them four, all they got to do is say that, and they get qualified immunity.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm going to read from the story here. On the morning of November 23rd, 2004, Malika Brooks was driving her 11-year-old son to school when Seattle police pulled her over for speeding. When the officers gave her a ticket and asked for her to sign it, Brooks refused, believing that she had been wrongfully pulled over and thinking, mistakenly, that her signature would be an admission of guilt. The officer threatened to throw her in jail, and when Brooks declined to sign, a sergeant ordered her arrest. To push Brooks to step out of her car, one officer pulled out a taser and asked her if she knew what it was. She didn't, but told officers she
whatever
was
is
7
kind
months
and
pregnant.
effective. I believe that instead of calling people civilians.
Sorry about that. That was an interview with a former CIA agent who is now Savannah police officer in Georgia, talking about how the rhetoric and the training and the mindset are all directed to war against the people and the departments all across the country. It's not about policing and being neighborly. But I'm sorry that played over. I thought. Go ahead.
Hold on a second. Okay. My bad, guys. To push Brooks to step out of her car, one of the officers pulled out a taser and asked her if she knew what it was. She didn't, but told officers she was 7 months pregnant. The officers chatted in front of her casually, discussing which part of her body they would tase. Well, don't do it in her stomach, one of them said. Do it in her thigh. The officers twisted Brooks' arm behind her back and tased her 3 separate times, first on her thigh, then in the arm, and then in the neck, before dragging her into the street, laying her face down and cuffing her. Brooks sued the officers to hold them accountable for their conduct. 6 federal judges agreed that the officers' use of severe force absent of any threat to their safety violated the U.S. Constitution, but those same judges dismissed her case, relying on a legal doctrine called qualified immunity. That doctrine has become one of the chief ways in which law enforcement avoids accountability for misconduct, and as Brooks' case demonstrates, even proven constitutional law violations. Ordinary people, whether they're doctors, lawyers, or construction workers, are expected to follow the law if they violate someone else's legal rights. They can be sued and required to pay for the injuries they've caused. I'm sorry. Under the doctrine of qualified immunity, public officials are held to a much lower standard. They can be held accountable only insofar as they violate rights that are clearly established in light of existing case law. This standard shields law enforcement, in particular, from innumerable constitutional violations each year. In the Supreme Court's own words, it protects all but the plainly incompetent or those who knowingly violate the law. It is under this rule that officers can, without worry, drag a non-threatening 7 months pregnant woman into the street and tase her 3 times for refusing to sign a piece of paper. Did anybody have anything they want to add before I keep reading?
If it was my wife, well, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. They expound upon it some more. Um, Qualified immunity permits law enforcement and other government officials to violate people's constitutional rights with virtual impunity. Today, we hear about police shooting after police shooting where officers are rarely, if ever, held accountable by the criminal legal system, either because prosecutors decline to charge, because grand juries decline to indict, or because juries decline to convict. Qualified immunity takes away the other avenue that victims of police violence should have available to hold police accountable. But while stories like Brooks' ab- abuses of authority that go completely unremedied occur every day in our legal system, there is a coalition building against qualified immunity, and there's a reason to be optimistic that things will change. It's going to go into the creation of qualified immunity.
Yeah, and on that, there's a great video on San Joaquin's channel where he covers this and has cool graphics. It's great editing.
Yeah, if you want to look that
Isn't
up
there?
and drop it in the thing for people to go
For
check
sure.
out.
Yeah.
It's cool. Did you have some? Who was that portrait farmer?
Isn't there 10 cases that right now the Supreme Court's supposed to be ruling about?
Yeah, we're getting
supposed to be 10 cases. Yeah, so does
We're,
anybody know the 10 cases? I haven't.
Nah,
Is that
but
what he's bringing up?
I don't know if what he shared has all of that or maybe just one example of it. But we're getting.
There must be some
I'm
pretty
just
bad cases to make it that far.
We're kind of assuming.
I didn't know there were that many cases.
Kind of assuming that there's a
they're
lot
supposed
of.
to be ruling.
Okay. No, I didn't know if everybody knew exactly what qualified immunity was, so we were going over some things. But if this is stuff nobody wants to hear, we can move on to the next document.
Yeah, go ahead. Only D wanted to know if the baby was okay.
Yeah, I think we all know what qualified immunity is, I would hope. So let's move on. Great idea.
And so Ronald Truitt says it's 13 cases, unless it's changed.
Is it? Yeah, last I read it was like they were supposed to rule on like 10 cases, and here's the worst part. They not only put it off, they voted to put it off. They voted again to put it off again after this put off. It's going to be put off again. They've already voted on that, and nobody's really even saying anything. It's like, oh well, they just put it off this time and the next time, which they haven't even voted yet, but they will, and they've already voted on it. So, how does this make any sense? I'm not only not going to do your job next 2 weeks, I'm not going to do it 2 weeks after that either. You know.
Right on, Peanut. We need to abolish the unions too. The police union it's not to help them,
the FOP,
do the right thing. Yeah.
Fraternal Order of Police, for sure. Did you want to you want me to read this? Is that how you want to go about that, Mr. Crispy, or did you want to read it? I don't really. I'm trying to figure out how to zoom in on that.
No, just share that link if you can, or I can. This is an article about a libertarian, former Republican, and Democrat from Massachusetts who have introduced a bill to eliminate qualified immunity for cops.
That would be a win for freedom.
Okay. Well, I shared my document, so whatever else you guys want to talk about qualified immunity, or we can talk more about body cameras.
Yeah.
And
and what's going on right now too, current events as far as like these protests / riots.
Anybody hear about the New York chief that's taking money away from the cops and is going to use it to rebuild the cities for the poor people? That's a win.
Yeah. I did not hear that, but oh yeah.
One commandment says, without qualified immunity, who would become a cop? That's pretty funny.
Captain? What's the weather like up there?
The weather right now is pretty good. It's not raining, and it's not too hot. We just picked up another subscriber of mine, and me and Bad Cop No Donut and the subscriber, we're all gonna go out cop watching here. So hopefully we'll get something up for you guys in just a little bit.
What I'm trying to figure out is anybody that's in the panel right now can highlight comments.
That's me. I'm doing that.
But that I'm saying anybody can do that. That's in the panel.
No, I'm logged in as Bolt Action News. I'm doing that.
So Von Leibowitz says get rid of grocery unions too while we're at it. $25 an hour to put flipping cans of peas on
I put
the
that
shelf.
up a second ago. That's funny. That's funny. I like Noli D's too, that not a single PD in her county has a body cam and only a few of them have dash cams. And I'll say, unbelievably, that's true also in Charlotte County, Florida. They don't have any body cams. The sheriffs, I don't know if the PD does, but the sheriffs do not. And only a couple of dash cams. It's crazy.
We have 5 cops with body cams so far as of yesterday or day before yesterday. That's it.
So in my town here in DeSoto County, Florida, all the cops, I think, just about have a body cam, but they have full autonomy to utilize their mute button, apparently, whenever the hell they please.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It's they're not being transparent.
Right. It's my belief that the cops shouldn't have access to that mute button, and when public records requests are made for body cam footage, it should be up to the IT department or whoever to redact whatever stuff they feel is, within the statute to be redacted.
I think it was a constitutional corner mentioned was the one that mentioned an agency somewhere where they it live streamed the dispatch, I guess, whenever they start their tour of duty for the day, and then I think maybe they get like a break or something at some point in time in the day, and then it doesn't stop streaming to dispatch until they end their tour of duty. So,
I liked what I saw. Oh, go ahead. I'll tell you
that seems pretty spot on for what should be needed. I just don't understand how it would really work. It seems like it would take a lot of battery and to live stream the whole time. Go ahead. Sorry.
Right. I liked in Rice Krispies video that we just watched how they were talking about how the cameras come on automatically based
That's
on.
a B.A.N.G video.
I'm sorry, the B.A.N.G video that Rice Krispie put up, but they're based on body posture, running, things like that. Their cameras will turn on automatically, and that's pretty awesome.
I was thinking about that, and if they refuse to activate it, run like Bao.
Yeah, they could just walk like an Egyptian the whole time. Then it'll never activate.
So, what about that thing they're doing in Tallahassee where they're not giving up that cop's name because they're going to protect him? They're going to protect all the cops. They're all going to be in fear of their life if they give up their name,
Right.
But why can't we go to that neighborhood where that happened and ask them people and get that cop's name and put it on all of our videos so everybody said we don't have to give us his name. We got it now.
Yeah, we just had a shooting right here, right where I live, and they won't release the officer's name either. I'm gonna get
Well,
that though.
why can't we go to the neighborhoods and talk to them people and say, hey, help us expose these crooked cops? What's their name? Somebody in that neighborhood got to know the name of the cop that did it.
You just said neighborhood twice right there, and that's what that ex-CIA agent / Savannah, Georgia cop was talking about. His name's Patrick Skinner, and he says, I believe in neighborhood policing, where it's not just a metaphor like that. You know, you act like everybody's your neighbor. You actually have to be from that neighborhood if you want to be a cop there. You have to live with the people. I don't know. That's
You just shared in the private chat an hour-long video. So, what is there a specific time frame you want me to show this?
What's that?
Crispy?
What was the question?
You put a video in the private chat, correct?
Oh yeah, that's Dr. Sean Berry's latest video of the Black Panther Party at a protest.
Am I supposed to be sharing this, or is that something that you were trying
okay, good. Yeah, sure.
I'm just asking you. And
That's
if
all right.
no, it's an hour long. So what part of it?
Holy shit! I know I haven't seen it. I was just gonna say like share it so people.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Dr. Sean Berry. He was out there with us.
That's the video
at the protest. He got there early. I don't know what I was saying.
Sean Berry's not in the chat, is he?
No, I just had the notification and I just put it in there. I don't know if he is in the chat. He just liked our page for the first time.
Doing a little impulse. I did that.
Gladly.
How you guys doing? How's everybody doing today?
What's up, Wolf?
What's up?
How you guys doing, Bang Bros?
That didn't sound good.
Driving around in the van, promising hundreds.
Nice. Promising. Shit. About something you guys were just talking about.
Oh,
what
shit.
Are you talking about? What's up, Tyrant Slayer? Hey, has anybody heard of cops using a second extension on simple public records like body cam, dash cam?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I got 2 extensions on. I've been requesting public records on the body cam, dash cam from our false arrest, Southeast
Like an
PA.
extension in terms of the reasonable amount of time to give you the
record.
Right.
Right. They have 7 to 10 days, and then they're allowed this like 20. I think it's 24-day extension, 25-day extension. They use that. Now they're giving a 14-day extension. They're giving me.
And it's not an open case still. It's not something that's being investigated still.
It's an open case, but it's body cam and dash cam. It's public record. It's not my footage from my phone that I'm asking for here.
Right.
But like, so I have a complaint with an officer in Daytona, and I can't get the body cam until the complaint investigation is closed.
See, even when they have it, they're gonna be bitches about it and not give it up. What the fuck is the problem? I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional because I'm just putting it all into perspective right now. It's you see the cops riding in on MRAPs stacked up with all the high tech equipment to stop us and keep us oppressed and repressed. This is not something that is for their safety. It's not to instill peace. It's to instill discipline and obedience. And they have no problem spending all that money for all that shit. But they're all, oh, it's so like costly to wear a camera on my chest. And when they do give it up, and they're like, okay, well, fucking wear the fucking camera. They don't want to give you the footage.
I think there's something on those body cams where they have the little huddle when we're not around them, where they're talking to the warden that they probably said something very stupid there, or something's really messed up there. But yeah, Noli, we're paying our lawyer. We've already got our lawyer and sent him our retainment papers. We just have to pay him. We're paying him next week, and we'll get the discovery. They're forcing it that way. It's messed up, but whatever.
Oh, you retracted the message. If a cop strains on the toilet, will it activate?
Oh, I said it earlier too, Noli. I said it earlier in the chat, but I think you were like doing chores or whatever that you said. Shoot me an email. My email's in my description. I'll shoot you my number.
Sorry, I thought I was muted.
Did everybody enjoy the drunk Wolfie in the morning? Anybody see that?
What day was that?
I woke
The
up
one from
embarrassed.
Wednesday or the one from Thursday?
This morning. This morning.
I enjoyed the emotional Wolfie.
Actually, that reminds me. If they
I was
see
emotional
me,
because
I'm drinking out
Pennsylvania.
in the street, but they can't find me. And if they do find me, I'll pay the fine. I'll gladly pay it next Tuesday, like fucking Wimpy from Popeye. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday, Wolfie. Gladly. That was funny.
GA. I was emotional because Pennsylvania kind of caught me off guard and shit. I'm always emotional. Like people don't see that side of me.
Yeah.
But I was also drunk too.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, we were talking about qualified immunity, but we all already know about it. So we all already know about body worn cameras. So,
Oh, but there's good things to talk about with body worn cameras. I mean, come on. All the body camera footage that disappears, all the body camera footage that gets muted all the time.
About the one they talked to, that's $300 for. They want $300.
I think I paid almost $30 the other day for I think 4 body camera footages, and at least 50% of all 4 cameras were muted volume, muted sound.
So I learned that Axon gives you the link, so therefore you can eliminate the police tampering with whatever the body cam did. So the manufacturer sends it straight, but the police,
so
I guess,
request with that.
I learned that from Captain Awesome.
Well, how do you make the request to them?
Yeah,
Captain.
Yeah, my IOU wants to know too, because they're trying to charge him $300 in there in Suwannee County for a violent arrest that they portrayed upon a bunch of teenagers, and they won't give us.
I got an Axon link from Tallahassee, but they it expired.
Was it a highway patrol or was it a local PD?
The Tallahassee PD. But the link expired. It was the link to the Axon body cam, just like I asked for, but it was expired by the time they sent it. So I asked them, and since I asked for the names, badge numbers, and vehicle assignments, they gave me the names and badge numbers. I have all that for the entire Tallahassee PD, but not the vehicles. They said that their legal counsel has advised them that it's a security risk.
Yeah, so because find their vehicles parked outside of their home or something like that.
Security risk. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. Thanks for. That's still not justified. I mean,
no,
they take their vehicle home. You know, there's a cop who lives there. There's regardless. If he's a cop, he has to let you know who he is. You can't.
But so I want to rewind.
Anybody wearing a badge who doesn't want to tell you who they are doesn't deserve to wear.
Why are the cops at the protests not have any badge numbers or anything on in any of these protests? You see all them cops, hundreds of them. None of them have any.
Right. PDF. Poor Dirt Farmer. What's up? Hello, by the way. Poor Dirt Farmer with the statement of the day there about those protests. They're scared for their life. They don't want to be identified and remembered.
Dude, so I wrote back and I told them that the legal counsel will have an ACAP complaint for ethics and legal violations in advising the police department to deprive us of our statutory rights. Because you can't say that you can tell us your name and badge number, but not what car you drive, because it's super. Get the fuck out of here. How come so many other agencies across the country have given that? You know, and I wrote that as well. So
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. They know what car they know what cars we drive.
Well, see,
They
they're
make
going
a
to
little
stop
report
giving,
about us. They add all that shit in there. They drive by our houses and all that shit too.
they're going to
thanks,
stop
Michael
giving
Skidmore.
cops
I appreciate
names.
that, and so does Dr. Sean Berry.
Now you figure they're stopping giving the names of the cops up with this Miranda law shit they got going on in Florida, saying that they're in fear for their life. All the cop has to do after something happens is go to his boss and say, I'm in fear for my life. The public might be out to get me. So then they won't give us the name. And that day we were over there in Tallahassee, there was a shooting the night before. They're not giving that cop's name. Well, if they gave us the car number, if we seen anything like a news clip or anything and we'd see the car number, we would know which cop would be there. But I still say, if that's the game they're playing, we need to go to these neighborhoods wherever these cops are doing this and start talking to the people and say, hey, what was the cop's name? If they won't put it out in the newspaper, we have a right to do it if we can find it.
That's a wonderful idea. I mean, seriously, like definitely communicating with the people, especially victims.
Tyrant Slayer, we want to see what your big news is, so definitely email that to all of us. Or send it to one of us, and we'll all share it with each other, whatever's best for you.
Has anybody heard of a 6 o'clock curfew happening anywhere else than Pennsylvania, Philadelphia?
You guys have a 6 o'clock curfew?
Every day after Saturday, when we blew up 6 cars and injured 18 officers on the first protest, they 6 o'clock curfewed us, and they shut down all the bridges. There's like really,
You're like
really
animals.
Half
You're
the
all
people
like
don't even go to work
animals.
by then.
Some would say like a wolf.
It's crazy. I mean, we couldn't even get out of the city that night. That night it was an 8 o'clock curfew, but that's because they didn't know what the hell to do on the first day, and they were just like 8 o'clock curfew. It's 8 o'clock now. 8 o'clock curfew, but every other day's been 6.
Damn, they're opening the bars tomorrow, and they're giving you a 6 o'clock curfew. That's a contradiction.
Monkey, what's up? What's up, Dr. Sean Berry?
Yeah, what's up, Monkey? I saw that too.
Bad cop, no donut. Yeah, looking forward to it, Tyrant Slayer.
So Dan Akers says LA posts a 6 p.m. I guess he means curfew as well.
What's up, Monkey 83?
Hey, if you got to bring somebody else up, like Dr. Sean's in there or Monkey, bring them up. Put me down.
Yeah, bring somebody in. We got the link here. Let me put it back up. Blam! There's the link. I think.
I like hearing these guys.
Anyone wants to jump up, you can kick me out, Corey, or I can kick myself out.
Kick me out too if you want. Doesn't matter.
I accidentally logged in as Bolt
y'all drop me down. I'm good with it. I want to hear y'all talk. I'm sure everybody wants to hear y'all talk.
Fun.
So there were a couple questions I could have asked at that press conference that I just didn't think of. Like, I could have said, "Will you activate it if a citizen asks you to?" You know, that should be a yes.
Would you arrest an officer if you seen him kneeing on somebody's neck?
That's a good one.
Or at least
in Clearwater, somewhere down there where y'all at. I think it was in March though. You see that video just came out? Where was it at? It was down there near y'all somewhere.
Fawn Leibowitz, are you in here still? Shut the fuck up. There was no drone in the air at that airport. I was listening to the live ATC. Shut the fuck up, dude. They were lying to you, and they wouldn't do that. Liar. That's it. I gave you a chance. Now I know you are a troll, Fawn Leibowitz. You're a troll. You don't like that word, but that's what you are.
I don't even see what you're talking about. I don't even see what you're yelling about.
It was a comment on my community post of I think it was Port Dirt Farmers video of when we went to the airport and I did the ghost drone. There was no drone in the
Yeah.
air. I just had the controller was charging my phone. And some
Right.
lady from the TSA was leaving and she panicked and called the
Oops.
traffic control
Sorry,
and they
Corey.
called the cops. So
Okay, and also the fawn left a comment saying probably all the weirdos from Camden coming over to Philadelphia causing trouble. You know what? I was in the middle of this and I learned a lot about a lot of things being on like the front line of this protest. And I was seeing how Black Lives Matter, wherever Black Lives Matter goes, somehow Antifa goes. I saw Antifa. I saw white kids and with the black bandanas spray painting Black Lives Matter on a TGI Fridays and other private businesses. And I saw Black Lives Matter people pushing them away, telling them that's not the place to do anything like that. So, and then them scurrying off and getting lost into the crowd after being confronted by Black Lives Matter people. So when you come up to your private business, who are you going to think spray painted Black Lives Matter on your private business? Somebody from Black Lives Matter, right? Or somebody who supports them. When this was just this white kid wearing all black with his black bandana over his face, the typical Antifa hustle that was going on in front of me was weird. They were the ones that were like pushing
the old
cops.
Chick-fil-A move.
They were pushing cops. They were the ones that were making cops push them back and making a scene out there. It was the weirdest thing I ever saw. I really didn't understand how each of these groups actually protested until I was actually really in the middle of this very demonstrative protest.
We don't have them in Florida, do we? The Antifas, whatever they are.
Yeah, that's Noli D just nailed it. Antifa and Proud Boys are two sides of the same coin, and they're both bad. And it is they do twist the shit to be in not in their favor, but against their opponent's favor.
Okay, so this bartender in
manipulative
Philly,
deception and crazy shit.
this bartender in Philly, some chick, right? At this place, Keys in Pennsylvania, and I used to go. Pennsylvania labels himself as Antifa. She's an Antifa person. I was talking to Keys about what some of my thoughts about Antifa, or however the hell they pronounce it, Antifa, right?
Yeah,
well,
that's what they say.
I was like,
fucked
I forget what I was saying. It wasn't like rude, like fuck Antifa or something like that. It was just something in general. And she was just like, leave them out of your mouth, all yelling and shit. And I was like, wow, that gave me my first sense of Antifa people.
Yeah, I am anti-fascist, but I am anti-Antifa.
I'm not going to use anti-fascist to fucking drive a narrative or a wedge somewhere. Like that's how I feel that they do. Sorry
I'm
for any
anti-Antifa for hijacking anti-fascism as their slogan because they don't get it.
Mm-hmm. It's an oxymoron. You can't call yourself anti-fascist and you're going out there trying to change the narrative of other people's protests.
Yeah, Noli D, they were trying to pick a fight with me at the protest last Sunday when I was wearing the Hawaiian shirt, the flamingo shirt. So I get it. And white supremacists wear that shit, but
Yeah, you guys know it wouldn't be good for me to be there when them fucking people try that shit on y'all, right?
they were actually kind of cool about it, but I could sense the tension. I was like, dude, no.
They walked up to James Madison audits and put their hand over it on his phone over the camera lens, like palm against phone, and Southeastern PA and I and a couple Black Lives Matter people shooed them off like little kids. These people were like little kids, like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah, they don't get it. They're just out to, take out their pent up aggression. But I saw that happen to Captain Awesome before I got there. He had gotten separated from Dr. Sean Berry, and some of them were like, "What are you doing here, man?"
Yep.
Did y'all see that lady shove Peachy Ryder out of the crowd in Georgia the other day? I mean, pushed her back 25, 30 feet, shoved her out of the crowd. Did y'all see that?
No, Antifas?
I don't know who that was, probably.
Captain's back.
Oh, Cap.
Can you talk about what happened with those Antifa people before I showed up at the...
Antifa?
I don't know if they were, but I think they were. Captain? In
They were
Tampa?
kids. They were wannabes. They was wanting to be
Wannabe for?
Wannabe.
I don't know if they were.
Yeah, you one of them wannabeefers. Wannabeefa.
Wannabe for? Captain's got his wife's titty in his face, I think. He's not paying any attention.
I thought he was driving. You better watch the road.
Maybe.
Yeah, that lady pushed Peachy Ryder out of the crowd. I mean, shoved her. Talking about she's getting her out of there. She was what was they call her? Like she was an instigator or something.
I just read Fawn's. Wouldn't one argue? Yeah, one. You're the one that would argue that. The only one.
Pushed Peachy Ryder. Yeah. He shoved her. Talking about she's getting her out of there.
Cam back booming. Whatever you're viewing this on, the volume's too loud, and all we're hearing is us talking back to each other. So unmute yourself if you got something to say and talk to us, and then mute yourself when you're not talking. That way we don't get all the background noise. Please and thank you.
Or just turn the volume down like 3 clicks on your phone.
Or use headphones. That works too.
Turning the volume down 3 clicks. You got
something to say, talk to us.
Sorry about all my cussing, if this is a family show now.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, YouTube, that we used freedom of speech.
No, we have new viewers today.
Stacey Abrams speaks about protests. They're showing more shit from Washington. Nice.
Piner. Jack Smith was joking. So was I, Jack Smith. We're drinking beer.
So, do you guys want to try to talk about any of the other stuff? Or are we done with all the things we were wanting to talk about?
I think we've. I was trying to get a. Captain, you still there? No. Yeah, I was gonna get the story about those folks from that protest, but other than that, body cams. Yeah, thanks, Ronald.
Slightly touched on that.
Y'all seen a lot of
qualified immunity. We touched it.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen all the gruesome videos on YouTube of the people that were really in bad shape that are going around right now? I don't know if y'all have seen them or y'all just seen the protest, but there's a lot of small channels that only have like 7 viewers, 7 subscribers, 20 subscribers. And they got some of the worst videos on YouTube of the people that are really in bad shape.
Bad shape from what?
Getting like one had a rubber bullet sticking out between their eyes, out of their forehead, bleeding all over the damn side.
A rubber bullet sticking out of his forehead?
The woman's forehead, yeah, bleeding everywhere.
That was the lady who came home from.
All right, these people that I'm letting in the resistance. Good to have you. Sorry, I'm having to mute people here, but the panels, they're kind of notorious for everybody being allowed to talk over each other. But just kind of try to mute your mic or turn your stuff down so that we don't get feedback of us just talking ourselves. What's up, resistance? Being allowed to talk over each other.
What's up, man?
Just kind of try to mute your mic or turn
The
your,
resistance.
stuff down so that you don't get feedback of us just talking ourselves.
And what delay?
Yo, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now we can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can hear you.
we
Turn your volume.
What's
Turn your
going
volume
on,
down a little
y'all?
bit. We
I'm
can hear
trying
the
to get my
volume.
camera to work. It's my first time doing.
I remember my first time with a camera.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Whose mic is that echoing?
What's going on, y'all?
It's all the resistance. It's
The
his
resistance
first
has to
time.
turn down his camera or turn off the computer in the background or whatever's making the reverb on delay.
Yeah, it's his first time. However, if you're just on your phone, if you have headphones, that would help. If you're watching on your computer, if you're doing it on both, you got to turn the volumes down because and there's a delay too. So all it's doing is just we're talking to ourselves here and waiting to hear what you have to say in response.
Yeah, we're just wrapping up too. So even if you just want to do the wrap up song, that'd be good too. If anybody knows what that is, because the
delay too. So all it's doing
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
to ourselves here and waiting to hear what you have to say in response.
Yeah, we're just wrapping up. Even if you just want to.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here, but shout outs to all of y'all, man. Wolfie Gladly, Captain Awesome, G the Gladiator, what's up? What's going on, bro? Poor Dirt Farmer, what's going on? I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I see y'all next time. Hopefully, I can get
Sing
up
the
here.
song, man.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here, but shout outs to all of y'all, man. Gladly, Captain Awesome, G the Gladiator, Gladiator, what's going on, bro?
We're gonna hear it twice if he does.
He's got his reverb. I don't know how he's doing that. I don't know how he's watching that.
Give it a second. Hold on.
How he's watching that.
Trying.
Fun. Why are you here, Fun?
I have no clue how that happened. What was he watching on the computer and had his phone on mute? I don't know.
There's no telling. But sounds like I guess we're done here. I don't know if anybody else wants to chit chat or whatever. I can go live from my channel, but it sounds like everybody else is ready to check
Yeah.
out.
Any questions, comments, agreements, disagreements from the chat?
StreamYard novice.
Yeah. When are we going to Georgia, man? Let's rock. It's only 45 minutes from the house. Let's rock.
Yeah, and what's Saturday's topic? What are we talking about Saturday? Captain?
I think it's pretty obvious that he's not
Yeah, no.
been speaking.
Anybody else in here? Well, that's your answer, Fun. It's a free country. You're free to work yourself up the way you do. And come in here. And this is not good for you. I can tell you that. This is not good for you. But
yeah, I
who's to
agree
say
with
what's good for
Newtown,
who?
South Florida. With the techno music playing. He's got techno music playing, hardcore D-sucking music.
What's up, Poor Dirt Farmer?
Oh, y'all. How do you think this is going to end?
I don't know.
Think everybody just going to go
as far
home?
as riot season or
Is everybody
COVID
just going to go
season?
home? Yeah, this whole thing. How's it going to end? Is everybody just going to quit and go home soon, or what? Get tired and go home?
Yeah, we've
Not
asked
give it
ourselves
another week.
that every panel for the last 3 panels. We've been asking that.
Well,
we've been
they've
saying,
arrested all 4 officers now, or they charged all 4 officers. They've changed the charges for the guy who had the knee on the neck to, I guess, upgraded them. I saw on the news yesterday. I don't know. They just had the funeral today. I would give it like 3 or 4 more days, maybe.
Well, I know in Georgia, the cops backed way off where Peachy was. They were standing right up against the crowd talking to him. Today, they're not talking no more. The cops are like 50 feet back. So
Yeah,
they
they
ain't even
probably
trying.
made asses of themselves too much already. So they're like, hey, let's not do that again.
Yeah, they don't even.
yeah, but what does this say that they're going to do? Not willing to talk. They'll just act. And
Yep.
that, like I was saying earlier, are we watching them maintain peace or maintain obedience and oppression? Like, what's all this equipment for? They can't, supply masks and gowns for nurses and doctors, but there's enough rubber bullets and CS gas to go around, and MRAPs.
Shit they're wearing. It's all brand new. Everything you see on them's all new.
Yeah, I don't see the president going out there and
All right,
making
I'm
an
back in,
emergency
y'all.
act in order to get GM to make rubber
Yes, sir.
bullets.
There's enough rubber bullets. Yes. But you got an echo, bro. You got to turn that down in the background.
The resistance, man. You got to be on your phone when you come in here so you can hear us live.
I'm on the computer right now. Everything is off in the background.
Okay.
In here, so you hear us live.
But on the computer, there's a delay. It's like you're in China and we're talking to you, and you have to hold your ear real quick for 10 seconds.
So also, if you guys want to on the way out, listen to that police officer Patrick Skinner from the Savannah Police Department talking to NPR about how police officers during protests are resembling soldiers in war zones. And it's just refreshing to hear an actual cop and who is a former CIA guy like identifying and seeing the problem and calling it out. This guy apparently doesn't give a fuck, and that's what we need. We need people who don't give a fuck about that thin blue G-string. So
yeah, it's gonna be hard, man. I mean, that's all
Patrick
they look
Skinner.
for. That's all they look for are people who are going to be afraid of the brothers behind the shield.
And on that same note, as far as the over militarization, if you don't know about it, look up and read HR 1714. And if you agree with it, tell your representative to support it. HR 1714 to stop the militarization of our police forces. All right, the resistance. Is he still in here? No.
Yeah, he needs to use his phone. That's the only way to do this. To use your phone or tablet device, I think, because when you watch on a computer, you have the delay, Like I watch the chat on my computer while I'm on here on the phone, and I can see how far delayed it is.
All right, so questions,
Finest
comments,
has a
agrees.
question for the panel.
What?
People's had suggestions for, I guess, a Saturday night deal too. The captain's showing video now, asking about. They were asking about public records earlier. You guys were talking about public records already, so.
Would any of us have stepped in to help? Yes, absolutely, Piner.
Look at Captain cruising.
Well, no. Let me not lie. On that day, I would not have, but ever since then, I will.
Hey guys, just wanted to let you know that I will probably be going live on my channel. We just got down here. We're in Panama City Beach tonight, doing some cop watching on the strip. So I should be able to get some stuff for you. And so I'll be going live on my channel. Can't figure this camera view around, but once we're done here at Bang, I'll go live on mine here in just a little bit.
Right on. We'll be there.
Yeah. I'll be there,
Oh,
Captain.
the Resistance wants to take us out with the song. Drop the link again.
Yeah.
It's worth it. Captain, you want to tell us about those people who got in your face at the protest before I showed up? The Antifa kids?
Yeah, me and Dr. Sean Barry were there early, and as most the viewers know, Dr. Sean Barry likes to wear the fluorescent vest. It just so happened that the people at the event working the first aid tent or whatever was wearing fluorescent vests, and they came up to Doc and asked him to take it off, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not taking it off." And so these guys definitely, Antifa, whatever you want to call them, they were steadily gawking. I mean, this kid had his camera in my face for like 30 minutes, and just real weird,
Just like the girl at Peachy Riders video, man. They had two girls in Peachy Riders video, the same thing. And then yesterday, they had like a group of them that got around her, and they were really like being kind of threatening towards her. And then the cop ended up kind of talking some sense into them and got them to split up. But weirdos, man.
They don't want us recording them being provocative.
Oh, speaking of which, you guys want to hear something I forgot? You know that whole incident that happened with Will Turbid and my friend I used to work with, right?
Yeah, that was funny.
Well, my friend went out there again to the protest that Eyes on the State was covering on 301 in Big Bend, and right when it was dispersing, the cops were like, following the people as they're walking away. My friend is riding on his bike opposite of them, saying, "So what's that supposed to mean? No justice, no peace. That doesn't sound very peaceful." Like, oh, brother, what the fuck are you doing, man? So these people actually, I guess, like chased him a little bit. He had to get out of there. He was on his bike, but they chased him away. Rightfully so. I told him, dude, you're protesting protesters. Don't do that. Just like I've told some of my friends, I'm pro Second Amendment, regardless of what you've heard. But if there's an anti-Second Amendment rally or something, I'm not going to go protest against them protesting. You know what I mean? I'll go have my own protest, maybe on the other side of town or maybe even across the street, but I wouldn't be protesting them. And I wouldn't do it across the street. I don't know.
Film them. I would go film that event.
Yeah. Yeah, but I wouldn't say, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Even in a situation to get into a debate, it's like, why argue with these people? They let them believe their stupid little fantasy that even if 2/3 of our representatives were to repeal the second law, try to enforce it on this country that's already volatile. No way.
They already have stripped away our Second Amendment in many states across this country. They give you a chance to get a firearm, but they restrict you beyond measures of self-defense.
Hey,
What's up, y'all?
What's up, the resistance?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? How y'all
what's
doing?
up?
I'm chilling, man. Just got in not too long ago. Can y'all hear me clear and everything?
Much better now.
Yeah, I just got in not too long ago. There was a protest in a certain section of the city that I was trying to make it to, but I got there too late. I didn't hear about it until later on, so I just went out.
How dare they start without you?
I think they kept it under wraps because they knew I was going to be there. But yeah, I just shot a few videos, and yeah, I'm just getting in. But yeah, y'all about to wrap up, right?
Yeah, you got anything else, Captain?
Yeah, actually, there looks like a small protest out here on the street, on the sidewalk here at the beach. It looks like there's a couple of law enforcement officers over there. So I'm going to go live on my channel here in a minute, and we'll see what's going on here.
Right
I'll
on.
be there.
Well, hurry
All right,
up. I got
guys.
my other phone ready to go.
Anybody else got anything? If not, the resistance, take it away. Oh, is he not here anymore?
Ah, he bounced.
Oh,
Damn, man. It's such a good feeling being
I'm
with
back. I'm back.
friends.
Oh, there we
Hey,
go. There we
Wolfie,
go.
how you gonna start my song like that, Wolfie? You know you ain't supposed to be
I
playing
thought you deserted us, yo.
it. Nah, y'all going out? Y'all taking it out? Y'all want me to take
Yeah.
y'all out with it?
Yep,
All right,
that's
what's
a.
going on,
That's
y'all?
a.
It's the Resistance, man. I want to give a shout out to Wolfie Gladly. I want to give a shout out to Rice Krispie. Who else in here? GA the Gladiator.
Poor dirt farmer.
Poor Dirt Farmer. What's going on, Poor Dirt Farmer? I need you to make me a stick for these caps, all right? I need a self-defense stick for these caps. I seen your video the other. I seen your video. They out here. Wow, they out here shooting firecrackers and stuff. It's crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna take y'all on out. It's the Resistance. It's such a good feeling, be with family and friends. It's such a happy feeling when you hand. You wake up ready to say, hey, I think I'll make a snappy new day. It's just a good feeling, a very good feeling, a feeling to know that I'll be back when the day is new, and I'll have more ideas for you. And you'll have things you'll want to talk about. I will too. I'm out of here, y'all. It's the Resistance.
How's
Bang,
that
bang.
for a sign off
Thanks for
on
that,
Bang? Thank you, brother.
No problem, no problem, no problem.
You couldn't have planned that better. Go tell
Oh,
that guy I'll pay the
give,
fireworks guy. I'll pay him later.
is it all right if I give a special update here on Broke News Action Network?
For real, go ahead. You
So I
earned
will
it.
be, everybody who knows the Resistance and been following me, I will be in Minneapolis next week. Everybody that contributed, that money went to that flight. I will be here next week. Y'all stay tuned.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
And thank everybody for coming out tonight. Bang.
Yep. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in 2 days, and we're out for tonight.